In this video, I'm going to be going over 5 steps that you can implement to get ripped or reduce your body fat significantly in just 3 weeks. This video is for anyone that's got a big occasion coming up. Maybe you've got a wedding coming up, so you want to get in better shape so you can be able to fit in that suit properly or that dress properly. Or you've got a vacation coming up and you want to be able to look good on the beach. I did this myself for that same reason. So I recently went on vacation. As you can see, I'm about 2 shades darker than I usually am. So I've got a bit of a tan because I've literally been under the Caribbean sun for the past 2 weeks. I went on a cruise ship that was taking me to different islands. But anyway, I did this myself before I went on my holiday for 2 reasons. Number 1, I wanted to look good on the beach. And number 2, I wanted to be able to eat whatever I wanted on my vacation and still not get out of shape. So my plan was to reduce my body fat significantly. So whatever calories I accumulate and whatever fat that I gained whilst I was eating whatever I wanted on my holiday wouldn't be too much to get me out of shape. And clearly it worked because I'm still in shape. I've still got my 6-pack, still look fantastic. And I was eating cakes, I was eating ice cream, all sorts of desserts on my holiday. So these 5 steps that I'm about to go over with you guys clearly works. Let's get straight into it. Number 1, start a semi-keto diet. A keto diet is a diet where you just basically cut out all carbs and all sugars from your diet. So you're only eating protein and fat. But what I want you to do is do a semi-ketosis diet. So you're not gonna go fully into a ketosis diet, but you're gonna adopt some sort of a ketosis diet. So what I did was I would eat just protein and fats all week, and then one day on the weekend I would have a carb day. So a day where I would eat carbs like rice and bread and all that sort of stuff. I did this because I didn't want to cut out carbs entirely. I believe that carbs are a good source of energy, especially if you want to train hard in the gym. But if you want to go into a full ketosis diet and just eat meat and fat for the next 3 weeks, you can still do that if you don't mind it. But I know that most people like to eat carbs, so I like to eat carbs myself. So that's why I would suggest you eat just protein and fats for a whole week, and then on the weekend, maybe a Saturday or a Sunday, you eat carbs. And when I say eat carbs, I don't mean eat overly processed carbs like junk food and fast food and all sorts of rubbish carbs. Eat healthy carbs like brown rice and potatoes and brown bread and that kind of stuff. So ketosis on the weekday and carb up on one day on the weekend. This is going to help you burn a substantial amount of fat very quickly because of 2 reasons. Number 1, when your body is in ketosis, your body taps from fat for energy. So your body burns fat for energy instead of burning glucose for energy or burning carbs for energy. Usually when you're eating carbs and sugars and when you're on a regular diet, your body is burning glucose for energy or burning carbs for energy. So you'd have to do a bit more to be able to burn fat for energy on a normal diet. But when your body is in ketosis, which is what happens when you go on a keto diet, you burn fat directly for energy, and this is gonna drop the weight very quickly. I've done this a couple times. Anytime I go on a ketosis diet or semi-ketosis diet, like I like to do it, my belly fat drops very quickly. I'm able to shred down in just a couple of weeks. So this works like it's magic. The second reason why adopting this diet is gonna help you burn fat a lot quicker is because your body takes more energy to burn protein. So as opposed to carbs and sugars and other food types, your body takes a lot more energy to digest protein. So basically you're burning fat even whilst digesting protein. So when your diet is mostly a protein diet, your body is literally working overtime, working extra hard to burn the food that you're eating. So not only are you burning fat whilst you're training and doing your cardio and doing your walks and all that sort of stuff, you're still burning fat whilst you're digesting your food. So generally, anyone who has a high protein diet is gonna burn fat a lot quicker and a lot easier than anyone that's got a high carb diet or a high sugar diet. So adopting this diet can help you burn fat 2-3 times quicker than you normally would because of these 2 reasons. So when you're on this diet, you eat basically mostly protein and fats. So you take out the carbs and the sugar from your diet. So you can eat steaks, eat chickens, eat fish, you eat butter as well. That's the good thing I like about this diet, because when you take out carbs and sugar from your diet, it's very hard to keep up just eating meat alone, especially if you've got a sweet tooth. You're someone that likes to taste good food. I'm someone that likes to taste good food. So I like this diet because at least you get to eat fats, and that tastes slightly better than just protein. So you can eat butter, you can eat nuts, you can eat Greek yogurt, you can eat some vegetables, you can eat some fruits. The way I did it was I would experiment with my dishes. So I made burgers where I would swap the bun with lettuce. So I would use lettuce to make a burger. And I just experimented with my dishes. There's a lot of ways you could make the dish look like an exciting dish without adding carbs and sugar to it. If you want to have a sweet tasting drink, you can drink Diet Coke or Diet Pepsi, whatever diet beverage, because those are quite keto friendly. So I did that Monday to Friday, and then on Saturday I would eat carbs. So I would eat like brown rice and brown bread. I still didn't go overboard with the carbs. I still kept it healthy. That's what makes you still stay in a fat burning state, because you're not just going to eat fries and burgers and all sorts of overprocessed carbs. You still want to keep it healthy. So your diet is going to still be a healthy diet generally. Remember, we're trying to do this in just 3 weeks. So you don't want to go and have a cheat meal. You don't want to go and have a pizza or a burger or waffles. You still want to eat healthy because you still want to get ripped. You still want to reduce your body fat significantly. So no cheat meals. You have just one day, which is a carb day, not a cheat day. A six-pack is built in the kitchen. So if you want to build a nice physique, you want to look lean, you want to look ripped, you can't be eating pizza, I'm sorry. Especially if you're getting to that point, if you don't have a six-pack already. So if you're not already in good shape and you're trying to get in good shape, you don't want to be having cheat meals. I wouldn't advise you to have cheat meals. You can have healthy carb refill days, but not a pizza, not ice cream, not that kind of stuff. So that's the first point. Follow a semi-keto diet or a keto diet. You want to put your body in ketosis, basically. The second point is you want to take shorter rest times in the gym. What I mean by this is when you're training in the gym, obviously you still need to go to the gym whilst you're on this 3-week cut, we can call it. You still need to go to the gym. So you want to shorten the rest times in between your sets. So let's say you've done a set of bicep curls and you usually rest 3 minutes before your next set, which is what I do. You want to shorten it down to about 1 minute rest before the next set. I would advise this because when you do this, your heart rate is constantly higher than the normal threshold. So you're constantly burning fat whilst you're working out. It's like doing cardio and weightlifting at the same time. So while you're building muscle, you're constantly burning fats. It's going to increase your metabolism. You still want to push yourself in the gym. Obviously, you're not going to be able to maybe lift as heavy as you normally would because you're not resting as much as you would do in between sets, but you still want to push yourself in the gym. You want to go down to about maybe 80% of the weight that you'd normally lift because you're having a shorter rest time. But you still want to push yourself to be able to build muscle. So when you do this, your heart rate, like I said, is constantly racing. Your metabolism goes up. You're burning fat whilst you're lifting weights. If you want to go an extra mile whilst you're resting, you don't want to sit down. You don't want to sit down and text on your phone. You can walk around whilst you're resting for that 1 minute before your next set. That's going to help you burn fat even further. So reduce the rest time in between sets, and in between sets, don't sit down and text on your phone before your next set. You can stand up, pace around, go back and forth. I like to do this in the gym, even on a normal day. I don't like to sit down in between my sets. I like to walk around because that will help keep your body in a fat burning state. So you're burning fat even whilst you're resting. So 1 minute rest and then pace around in that 1 minute. It's not going to be easy, but it's going to help you drop a good amount of fat in just 2 weeks. In just 2 weeks, you're going to see a huge difference. Remember, it's going to be a 3-week program, but in 2 weeks alone, you would have seen a huge difference in your physique. So lift heavy in the gym still, progressively overload. You still want to prioritize building muscle because the more muscle you have, the more fat you're able to burn. So you still want to lift heavy. You still want to progressively overload. You still want to push yourself in the gym. Don't make your workout significantly easy because you're resting less in between sets. Push yourself as far as you can in the gym, safely of course, but reduce your rest time. The way I do this is I'll just do supersets. So from a bench press, I'll go into a bicep curl straight away. From leg extensions, I'll go into hamstring curls straight away. From shoulder presses, I'll go into lat pull downs. So I just would do supersets and then I'll rest 1 minute in between the supersets. So you're just basically going in the gym. You're not resting much in the gym. Typically when you're following this kind of workout program, you don't have much time to be on your phone because you're pacing around, like I said, on your rest time, and your rest time is just 1 minute. So if you have time, if you notice you have time to be on your phone and reply messages and be there for a long time, then you're not really doing this properly, because it's not very easy to pace and still be on your phone. And remember, like I said, if you want to push yourself even further, you want to stand up and not sit down. You can't sit down and be on your phone for that 1 minute. But for the people who want to go even further and get better results in 3 weeks, then I would advise you just pace around, so you won't have time to be on your phone. Number 3, intermittent fasting. This is basically when you don't eat any food for a period of time during the day. So what I did personally was I wake up in the morning, I'll go about my day, I wouldn't eat until about 2-3 p.m. in the day. This works tremendously because whilst you're doing your day-to-day activity on an empty stomach, what's gonna happen? Your body's gonna tap in from your fat for energy. So there's no food in your system for your body to use for energy. Your body's basically tapping in from the fat that you already have for energy. So this would help you drop a good amount of fat very quickly, most especially if you go to the gym and train on an empty stomach. So personally, when I was doing this, I would not eat until, like I said, 2-3 p.m. a day. So I would go to train in the gym around 12 p.m. So I would literally train on an empty stomach. So I was able to lose fat a lot quicker because, like I said, whilst I'm training, my body is tapping in for energy from the fat that I already have to fuel my workout. So I'm losing fat quickly. If you want to lose fat as quick as you can, this is one of the best ways that you can go about it. Just basically training on an empty stomach, going about your day on an empty stomach, walking on an empty stomach. And if you combine this with a keto diet, remember, I said the first point, go on a keto diet. So you're on a keto diet, which is helping you burn fat for energy. And then you add on intermittent fasting. This would 10 times the results you get. Whilst you're doing this, you want to stay hydrated as well. You want to drink enough water, drink more water than you normally would, because this would help keep your hunger in check. So anytime you feel like you need to put something in your stomach, when you feel like you're hungry, you feel like you get that starving feeling, you just want to drink water. That would help you to manage the hunger before it's time for you to eat. Also, drinking enough water would help you stay lean, because funny enough, when you drink a lot of water, your body gets rid of water weight. When you're dehydrated, your body holds onto water weight. And that's what makes you puffy. That's what makes you look bloated, makes your face look puffy, and just makes your body hold on to any fluids that you have because it's in survival state. But when you give your body enough water, your body would get rid of the water weight because there's enough water coming in. I drink water most of the day because of this reason. You would hardly catch me without a bottle of water. I've got a bottle of water here right now. So I'm constantly hydrating my body. I'm constantly drinking water because that keeps you lean. So when you're fasting, you want to drink water. It will keep you lean and it will keep you from feeling too hungry. So like I said, morning, I would wake up, go about my day, go to the gym and work out. I'll start my workout at 12 p.m. and then I'll finish typically at 1 o'clock. And then I'll make my way to my house and eat my food around 2 p.m. or 3 p.m. And then my last meal will be about 8 p.m. You don't want to eat too close to your bedtime as well. So you repeat the same thing the next day. This would help you go to a significantly lower body fat percentage in a very short amount of time. Number 4, take at least 20,000 steps a day. So usually I would advise people to take at least 10,000 steps a day. But in this kind of situation where you want to lose fat very quickly, I would advise you to up the amount of steps that you take in a day. So 20,000 steps a day, when I started doing that, I was dropping fat very, very quickly. Walking is one of the most underrated ways to burn fat because it's a very natural movement and it's a very easy thing to do. So the way to go about this is you can either get a walking pad. If you're someone that works from home and you don't go out much during the day, you can get a walking pad and just go on it and just walk whilst you're doing your work, whilst you're going about your day. Just walk most of the day. That would help you burn fat significantly. If you don't want to get a walking pad or you're not at home most of the time, if you're out and about, instead of taking your car to go to the gym, you can walk there instead. If you've got a meeting to attend, you can walk there instead. You just have to leave earlier than you normally would because obviously you're gonna spend more time walking than you would do driving. So just walk to your meeting, walk to the grocery store. If you need to go pick up your kids from school, walk there. You need to go to the gym, walk there. You need to go to the bank, walk there. Anywhere you need to go, just take more steps. I would advise you, if you're gonna do this, don't do this with your fancy shoes because it might wear out your shoes if you take this much steps in a day. So you need a solid pair of shoes, solid pair of comfortable walking shoes that you could take anywhere and walk everywhere with, that wouldn't wear off. So walk everywhere, just take more steps. Track your steps with your Apple Watch or your Whoop, whatever device that you use. Just make sure you hit that target every day. If you hit 20 steps a day, every day, it's not gonna be easy, but if you do it, you're gonna lose body fat so quickly, you wouldn't believe it. And lastly, number 5, get 8 hours of sleep a day. Get at least 8 hours of sleep a day. And I say this because whilst you're sleeping, your body produces the hormones that are very essential to burn fat, like testosterone for men and estrogen for women. The more of these hormones you have, the easier it is to burn fat. Your body produces growth hormones when you sleep as well. So you'll be able to build muscle whilst you sleep. And like we mentioned earlier, the more muscle you have, the less fat you're gonna have. Because the more muscle you have, the more fat you can burn whilst you're in a resting state. So sleep is very crucial. Sleep also helps to keep your hunger at bay. Like I said earlier, you don't want to eat too close to your bedtime. So if you go to bed on time, you won't have the craving to have a late night snack or anything of that sort. So sleep is very crucial if you want to lose weight. You want to be strategic about your sleep. You want to plan for your sleep. So what I would advise is you don't want to be on your phone or any device, a TV screen or anything that has blue light rays an hour before your bedtime. So switch off everything before your bedtime. You want to be in bed in a dark room at least an hour before you fall asleep. So I usually want to be asleep at 11 p.m. and wake up at 8 p.m. so I can get my 8 hours at least. So usually I would go to bed at 10 p.m. I'll switch off everything at 10 p.m. Get ready for bed, switch the lights off, switch the TV off, put my phone away, and just be in bed an hour before it's my bedtime. So that way I give myself time to wind down and just put myself in a state of calmness before I eventually sleep. You also want to make the room cooler as well. If you're in a cooler room, it's much easier for you to fall asleep. If you have trouble falling asleep, you could intentionally do something boring to make yourself bored and fall asleep. What I do is I read a book sometimes. If I can't fall asleep, I get a book and I read it. I don't like to read books. I find it boring. I like to learn through visual stuff. So I'm a visual learner. I listen to podcasts to learn. I can hear something and learn it, but reading books is boring to me. But on days where I can't sleep, I will pick up a book and try and read it. And that will usually make me fall asleep quickly. Another thing you could do is you could put on rain sounds or ocean sounds, just any kind of sound that would just give you that calming feeling that would help you fall asleep. I will put it on my speaker and just leave it to play. And I will usually sleep like a baby when I do that. So these are tips to help you fall asleep. You don't want to be on your phone just before you fall asleep because the light that comes out from the phone screen and the laptop screen and the TV screen usually keeps the body awake. So you want to put all these things away to help your body to get ready to sleep. Also, you don't want to drink water before you sleep because if you have water in your system whilst you're sleeping, you're most likely going to wake up to go and pee. So I would advise stop drinking water at least 2 hours before your bedtime. This is another reason why you shouldn't be eating close to your bedtime, because when you eat, then you need to drink water. And if you have water in your system, you're going to want to wake up and it's going to interrupt your deep sleep. So stop drinking water at least 2 hours before your bedtime. Drink as much water as you can in the daytime so you stay hydrated. But once it's about 2 hours before your bedtime, you want to cut out every liquid. Water, Diet Coke, whatever it is. You don't want to be drinking fluids before your bedtime so you don't have to wake up to go use the toilet. This way you can have deep quality sleep. So get enough sleep because your body repairs itself whilst you sleep. You burn fat whilst you sleep. You build muscle whilst you sleep. Whilst you sleep, you're not gonna eat. So it helps you keep hunger at bay as well. So if you want to lose a substantial amount of body fat in just 3 weeks, I would advise you get at least 8 hours of sleep every day. So follow these 5 steps if you want to get ripped in the next 3 weeks. Number 1, put your body in ketosis, adopt a keto diet. Number 2, shorter rest times in between sets in the gym. Number 3, intermittent fasting. Number 4, take at least 20,000 steps a day. And number 5, get at least 8 hours of sleep a day. Don't forget to like this video if you found this helpful. Leave a comment. You can ask me for advice in the comment section. I'm always available to answer. Share the video with anyone that you think needs this kind of information. Subscribe to get updates on the channel, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.